Long before anyone can remember, there was a small island on the edge of the world, the last stop before the new world. And its people traveled the world, taking their place in the memory of the world. And the years passed and the world changed, and that island on the edge of the world found itself in the center of the world, connecting the world, making the world smaller by thinking big, dreaming dreams the world could share, sharing with the world our own very special part of the world. And what have we discovered on this little island in the middle of the world? We've discovered the world likes the way we do things, and there's nothing in this world we can't achieve. Imagine a tournament, the envy of the world, a festival of rugby. More than participation, celebration, a world of memories for the world to share. We're ready to create something unforgettable. Ireland, ready for the world.
I think one of the great pleasures of the morning might be to see the reaction to the faces to that video. It really is hair on the back of the neck type of stuff. So I'm told that was released at midday and was trending within minutes. So that's the message that's been sent, that Ireland is indeed ready for the world. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to the front of the room here the Chief Executive of the Irish Rugby Football Union, Philip Browne, and former Irish captain and bid ambassador, Brian O'Driscoll. Gentlemen, thank you both. Philip, this is a junction on the road, a significant junction. There's been a long journey to get to this point. Give us an indication of some of the work that's been carried out already, just to get Ireland to this stage in the process.
It's taken us 4 years to get to here. We were in New Zealand in 2011 and experienced the wonderful World Cup that they staged. And we came back and said, well, if New Zealand can do it, why can't we do it? And so for 4 years we've been working away at this. We have 4 key stakeholders. The key stakeholders are obviously Irish Rugby. The government, both North and South, have been absolutely critical to all of this. We can't stage a tournament of this size and this magnitude in the island unless we have the full 100% support of both governments. And we're very fortunate to have that. And that support manifests itself in a number of ways. Manifests itself in terms of the public commitments that need to be made around tax, around access, visas, protection of commercial rights for the tournament itself. It manifests itself in a guarantee to pay the 120 million sterling tournament fee. It manifests itself in terms of underwriting the tournament costs, albeit with 2 million tickets to sell, that won't be an issue. And I have to thank both Martin Fraser and Malcolm McKibben. Malcolm is the head of the Northern Ireland Civil Service, and Malcolm Fraser is the Secretary General of the Department of the Taoiseach and of the government, because they have managed to assemble all the heads of their departments who are equally enthusiastic, and the level of support from both governments is absolutely first class. The first meeting I actually had in relation to the notion of staging or looking to host this World Cup was actually with Pádraig Duffy and Liam O'Neill of the GAA. This wouldn't be possible without the GAA, and I have to thank publicly Pádraig and the GAA because they've made the stadia available to us, because without those stadia we simply couldn't stage it. So they have been an important stakeholder for us. So we're very fortunate indeed that we have that level of support. I think the other thing that we've managed to do, and do very successfully, is to assemble a world-class team of advisors, all who have had experience in winning bids, all who have had experience in delivering successful tournaments, both World Cups, Olympics, you name it. So the credibility of our bid is significant. This isn't something we cooked up in a back office in Lansdowne Road. This is something that has been thought through very carefully indeed by people who know what they're doing. We're very fortunate to have a board chaired by Dick Spring with people from outside, from the corporate world, who have helped us in terms of pulling all of this together and keeping us on the straight and narrow. So as you can see, it's a big team effort. It is an effort that has taken some time to get us to this point. It's a huge level of cooperation across the board, but the hard work only starts now. We have 12 months in which to persuade the rest of the world that this is something worth doing.
And it's a very important message. Browne O'Driscoll, 17 appearances for Ireland across 4 World Cups. When you reflect upon that, just talk to me, put the World Cup into context, what it means.
I suppose from a player perspective, it's the ultimate honour to play for your country, but to play in a World Cup is very unique. Obviously, you only get the opportunity to play it once every 4 years. And it's that time of year, once every 4 years, where everyone has the same motivation. It's one prize. At different times throughout the season, be it summer tours, November internationals, players are at different phases of their season. That's not the case with World Cup. It's one prize, one goal, and everyone was given their all. And I was lucky to play in a few of them at times with mixed success. But you look back at some of the great memories of travelling and touring Australia for 6 or 7 weeks, New Zealand likewise. We managed to win against Australia the first time for 30 odd years, Southern Hemisphere opposition down in New Zealand in 2011. And I can only imagine, as envious as I was of the boys, hugely proud 10 days ago, as envious as I was of their victory against the All Blacks, I can't imagine how envious I'd be of a team that got the opportunity to play out here in front of their home crowd in a World Cup. It would be a very, very special thing for any Irish player, and fingers crossed that we could keep the plan on track.
I know you were chatting to Jacob Stockdale and Bill Johnson or with us earlier, and you'd probably give anything to roll the years back if you could. Yeah,
listen, I think when you look back on your career, you realise you've had your time, but you definitely look on some of the younger guys with envy, knowing what's in the post for them. I suppose we're in a very, very good place with our coaching staff at the moment. Looking at Japan in a few years' time, we're quietly building nicely towards that, but we've got the small matter of winning back-to-back games against the All Blacks on Saturday. We waited 111 years for the first one, and then all of a sudden, we're definitely going to do a job on them second time round. So I can only imagine the airtime that the New Zealand radio are enjoying with our bragging over the last 10 days. But it's great that we're pitching ourselves at that level now, and sometimes it's about breaking the seal for the first time. I'm hopeful that second time we won't have to wait another 111 years.
Taoiseach will talk to you about Mayo now in a second. Philip, when we see the map at the back of the room and we have an idea of potential match venues, when we get into the nuts and bolts of it, simply, do we have the facilities, do we have the stadiums to deliver a Rugby World Cup?
There's absolutely no doubt about it. And again, when you match up the big GAA stadia with the rugby stadia, we have an ideal mix of venues. We have a long list of 12 venues at the moment. It's up to Rugby World Cup to choose ultimately the venues that will be used, probably 8 to 10 venues. The key thing for us was that it's a sustainable solution. These are all pre-existing stadia, with the exception of Casement Park, which is already planned and to be built, and hopefully will be built. One of the key things about the stadia options that we have is that they're all city centre locations. You can walk to these stadia. There's no question of having to get into a train and spend an hour getting out to a stadium and then 2 hours to travel back in from a stadium after a match. They're all city centre. You can walk to them. So from a fan experience, it's going to be absolutely unique and can't be delivered anywhere else in the world. The other interesting thing is that we have a unique mix of seating and terracing. It's something we can convert the stadia temporarily to all seated if we wish, but we don't wish. We actually want to retain some standing, because that does a number of things. It provides tickets at an accessible price to the real rugby fan, and that's something that we want to deliver for World Rugby. So we're very confident that the stadia are there and that it will produce a magnificent experience for the fans, and in many respects, the sort of atmosphere that is produced at the big GAA grounds and the big rugby grounds imbues or embodies the spirit of rugby, which is camaraderie and friendship, and those are the sort of values that we want our World Cup to portray.
Brian, when you look at the bid, what are the standout features for you that Ireland can bring to hosting a Rugby World Cup?
I think you're looking at guaranteeing sold out stadia. you look at the passion that the country has shown in sport, full stop, but particularly in rugby over the last 15 years, via the professional or the provincial game, since professionalism came in 95. I think internationally in more recent years, there's huge excitement surrounding the game, and you have to look back to the World Cup last year on a Sunday against Romania. 90,000 odd people went and turned up. No matter where you go in the world, Irish people are going to fill out stadia. So, if you're doing it in your own country, you'd have to feel as though they're going to do it likewise. You got the sense that, as was mentioned earlier on too, that similar to Special Olympics, you could see different towns and villages embracing different countries and treating them as a second team along with Ireland. It's just the Irish way. And then, again, it's hard not to go back to 10 days ago, being able to fill out Soldier Field, 65,000 people, and that's just tapping into a very, very small diaspora of 30 million people, in North America. So if you're, engaging with them and telling them that there's a huge tournament on back in Ireland, you'd have to imagine a few of them might be attracted back here.
And just from a player's perspective as well, we need to tap into, it would be a tournament, one would imagine, that would go down well with the players. The needs of the players can easily be serviced, that if the players have a say in any of the unions around the world, that Ireland is a place that can meet all their needs.
Yeah, I was at the World Rugby Awards on Sunday, and yes, the All Blacks were licking their wounds, but they definitely, were excited about coming back to Dublin. You hear, no matter where you go, you talk to people about the atmosphere and the welcome that people get in Ireland, and it doesn't matter what you're playing. We're just like that as a people, and it's one of our great traits. And I think they'll get treated with the utmost respect on Saturday, except by the starting 15, and we'll be raring to go. So it's a special, unique trait that we possess that I think really endears us to the rest of the world.
Just to finish, Philip, give us an idea then of the impact of a potential Rugby World Cup in 2023.
The impact is going to be huge. The economic impact alone, the direct economic impact, is going to be €800 million plus. We are going to reach 4 billion television eyes over that 6-week period. We are going to have at least 450,000 visiting fans. The reason why it's going to be so many is because England, Scotland and Wales, 3 nations, are all going to have to travel from the UK to Ireland to watch their teams. So it will be the most well-attended World Cup in terms of visiting fans. Can you put a value on the level of cooperation that has been generated around this project, both north and south? I don't think you can. I think it's just an incredibly positive exercise. And in terms of engaging with the diaspora, it's a unique opportunity to engage with the diaspora. That 18 million people out there around the world who are so proud of their Irish heritage and want to be part of what we do here in Ireland. So, from my perspective, it is probably the biggest event that Ireland can ever hope to host.
I think, and everyone in the room will join in wishing you and everyone involved the very best in what will be a very busy 12 months ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, would you show your appreciation for the Chief Executive of the IRFU, Philip Browne, and for Browne O'Driscoll. Gentlemen, thank you both very much. That just about brings to a conclusion our launch this afternoon, folks. I think it'd nearly be a shame if we were to only have seen that video once, so if it's all right with the lads, sorry boys, I'm putting you under a little bit of pressure, but let's finish by reminding ourselves yet again that we are in a situation where Ireland is ready for the world. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Long before anyone can remember, there was a small island on the edge of the world, the last stop before the new world. And its people traveled the world, taking their place in the memory of the world. And the years passed and the world changed, and that island on the edge of the world found itself in the center of the world, connecting the world, making the world smaller by thinking big, dreaming dreams the world could share, sharing with the world our own very special part of the world. And what have we discovered on this little island in the middle of the world? We've discovered the world likes the way we do things, and there's nothing in this world we can't achieve. Imagine a tournament, the envy of the world, a festival of rugby. More than participation, celebration, a world of memories for the world to share. we're ready to create something unforgettable. Ireland, ready for the world.